to managing editor Times Network Mihir. In Davos, he described the situation as a weaponization of trade and tariff warfare. He expressed optimism, noting that the issues may be resolved at Davos as high-level delegations from both countries are meeting. He also added that India and the US have a win-win opportunity on tariffs and that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump are expected to find solutions over time.
Are you concerned, Borge, about, for the lack of a better word, weaponization of trade or weaponization of tariff between countries? Are you concerned about that? Because it's in direct conflict with the spirit of globalization.
Since the start of the 1990s, we have had this globalization for 30 years. It doubled the global GDP. The extreme poverty in the world went from 40% to 10%. So it gave its benefits, but they also had challenges related to it. For example, many blue-collar workers in already industrialized countries and middle class got competition from emerging economies they didn't have before. You have to look at it in a broader historic context. Trade has always been fluctuating. We have been through a period of a lot of trade and opening of borders. Now we're in a different situation where also post-COVID, countries are not only thinking about just in time, but also just in case, so they're strengthening their supply chains. And then you have on top of it this friendshoring, that some countries only want to then trade basically with friends, what they define as friends. But that's also very complicated because, as I said, with US and China, they're already so interlinked. I think the same with the US and India are very interlinked, but that process of negotiations are still going on. And I thought by Davos that would have been solved, but let's see.
Do you think it will be resolved anytime soon? Because everybody was hoping that it will be resolved before Davos.
Yeah, I would have said that also a few months ago. So I don't know what really takes that much time, but I think India and US are a win-win situation. So I'm pretty sure that Prime Minister Modi and President Trump will find a way. But, it takes a little bit of
flexibility
time and time, obviously.
And with that, we're slipping into a very short break. News and updates will continue. Stay on with us.
Times now at Davos.